Hello, we have got a challenge in front of us today, and we're going to look at a method that we can use to compare a couple of different projects and which of the two projects is the better one for us to do. We can take this approach that we're going to apply to projects, and you can use the same approach with an investment if you're thinking about perhaps investing some money in another business, or perhaps buying some shares or an investment property of some sort. Or you can just apply it to, as we are today, just to a couple of projects at work and which one is going to be the best for us to go ahead with. Right, so we're going to dive into Excel. Some calculators have this function, but most people tend to use Excel these days, so we're going to do this in Excel. Okay, so firstly we're going to look at the cost for us to launch this project. So for any project that we have, we're going to have an interest rate that we're going to apply, and the interest rate in this case is going to be what it's going to cost us to borrow money from the bank. But we might have an internal interest rate as well that we use within the company. And I'll just zoom this in so you can see this a bit clearer. So our interest rate, I'm going to say that's for argument's sake, that we're going to put that at 12%. So that's what we're going to pay our bank if we're going to be borrowing money from them. And we're going to look at the two projects. We're going to pretend that they're only going to go for a year, and the projects will they'll have a cost up front, and then they'll have some sort of return. So let's have a look at our first project. We'll call that project 1, and this one we'll call project 2, our comparison project. We're going to start in January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, and I might just make this slightly smaller so you can see all this on one screen. Let's get rid of these columns, these rows at the top. Okay, now firstly, these projects have got costs, right? So we're going to have to put in a value for the project cost to start with. And we're going to say for the first project it's going to cost us $50,000. And in terms of the benefit we're going to get from this project, we're going to see some return come back in March of $10,000, some in July of another $10,000, and then October we're going to see $40,000 coming back again. So overall we're going to see the project's going to cost us $50,000, and we're going to be making an extra $10,000 on top of that. So project 2 is a bit different. This one costs a bit more, and this project starts getting a return quite early. So we're going to say here this is going to be a $50,000 return there, and we're going to have another $10,000 here, and another, let's say, $30,000 here. Right, so if we compare these two projects, we're going to see that the total cost is going to give us a gain of $10,000, and for this one, total cost is also going to give us a gain of $10,000. But what we've got to take into account as well is we are paying an interest rate. So we're going to use a neat little formula now that will help us work out which of these projects is better off in terms of what the return we're going to get is in the future for these two projects, and therefore which one we should launch ahead with. So the function that we're going to use is called NPV. Now, before I go ahead and do this, because we're looking at all of these coming in a monthly basis, we're also going to get our interest rate to report on a monthly basis as well, because really we're getting a monthly return on that interest. We need to make sure that we're looking at interest in the same way as we are the money that we're generating here. So our interest rate here, monthly, is going to be that divided by 12, which, surprise, surprise, is 1%, if I make that into percentage. Right, now value of investment. The function that we use, NPV, and the first thing we put in is the interest rate, bearing in mind that it should be a monthly interest rate, not the annual interest rate, so we put that in there. And then next we just select all of the cash flows that we have coming in, which we have listed right there. Close that, and there's one more step we'll need to do for this. Because we've paid money for this project, we need to take away that initial spend there as well. So total equals this value here. We can actually add this because we've got a negative value at the top. So the benefit we're getting from that project is, in today's money, is $8,527. So it's a good project. So let's see what happens when we do the same over here. So NPV again. The interest rate is the monthly interest rate, so we'll make that 1%. And we'll do the same to select all of our cash flows coming in. And then we'll close that, and we'll have to do the same thing of taking away that the initial spend that we had there before. That. Take away our initial spend. Oh. Double negative is actually adding it because we were very clever and realised it would be smarter to put that as a negative number to begin with, then we could just add them. Okay, so of these two projects, the return on them is actually fairly close, but we would be better off to go with a cheaper project there. Interesting, isn't it? So in terms of the value that we get for today, this project 1 is the one that's more valuable. So hopefully this has been a technique that you can use to compare a couple of projects that are quite difficult to compare because the costs and the cash flows that are coming in are perhaps different to what we're used to. It's been quite interesting for me actually. I off the bat I thought that we might have a bit of benefit from the $80,000 project because we're generating so much return early on, but because we're borrowing so much, it doesn't work out that way. So sometimes intuition doesn't hold with these, and that's why it's so good to have a method that we can use to compare these projects. Thank you very much. All the best, and think where else you can use these. As always, there's always more than one way you can use a tool like this. Very useful for trying to make a difficult decision between two things that are quite difficult to compare. Understand My Data is a New Zealand business that helps you make decisions using your own data and artificial intelligence. It lets you see things you haven't been able to spot before.